Moderator, thank you, Madam Moderator. I think with all what you've said, you will not dispute the fact that it's time for me to take the backbench to retire. So,
your mother is still here.
Request
so
rejected.
Okay, thank you. I hope I have the right to share. Do I? I put some little presentation to tell us a little bit about NACDA North America women, and extend also to just let us learn what NACDA women in general are doing, because we do not work in isolation here in North America. We work in collaboration with our mothers and sisters back at home. So if I have permission to share, please just let me know.
You do, come and share.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will begin here. We are here today for our NACDA North America Virtual Convention, and I will be letting you know who the women actually are, the women leadership over the years, the work we do in community development and our social activities, and we'll end my little presentation with a call to action. It is just a good thing that some few months back, we had the same presentation during one of our meetings, because we wanted the women to actually know what we as the women do, because we thought it wise that it won't be good for some of our members to be coming to the meeting and they do not really know what the women are all about, what we do and what we wish that we could do. So I just tweaked this presentation again for us today. And I think it is a good thing that we actually learn from here to know what the women are doing. And if we see from my first, from this slide, we have a logo. The women actually have a logo for themselves. And if you see the motto, what is the motto of the Awing woman? Awing woman, she's an ingredient of development. And that is translated from Awing. Nga pingye la twakta fa. That is who we are. Pingye atwakta fa. And it happens to be our greeting now. When women meet back home, when they say pingye, we respond atwakta fa, meaning we are an ingredient of development. And going forward, who is the Awing woman? She is a strong support in her home, in the family at large, and the community. And I think our moderator, Mrs. Viviana Tanga, just made mention of that. And even Mr. Emmanuel Nkerpa also said that. We all know that the Awing woman is a very strong support in her home, in her family, and in her community, wherever she finds herself. And then I'll now talk about the leadership of NACDA women over the years. I begin with NACDA as it was created, NACDA Women's Wing as it was created in Cameroon. It's been 32 years, founded by our own very mama, very hardworking. Even though I said it was time for me to go on retirement, I think I was corrected very, very fast by our crown princess, because Mama Lucy, who is the founding president of, the founder of the NACDA Women's Wing, and who was the first president from 1989 to 1995, is still working tirelessly. So she handed over to Ma Justine Ayafo, who worked and then handed over to Kaminge Rebecca Asana. I took over from Kaminge Rebecca Asana and I handed over to Manyi Fopalo Beatrice, who did her turn and then handed over to Kaminge Felicia Asana, who is the current president. And then we come over to NACDA North America Women's Wing. That was created founded by our own very hardworking Kaminge Mercy Fofeke, who served as the first president from 2011 through 2015. She handed over to Dr. Florence Mbangowa, who worked, and I was again pulled in to head the women's wing. And I am currently doing that and doing it very happily. So if you see, the women's wing has existed for 10 years. We are this year celebrating our 10th anniversary. This was supposed to be done during the convention, but I'll come to that. Next year, we shall still ask you to join us to celebrate this, celebrate our successes and our achievements. So you see the women, whenever they are called to turn out, they turn out in their numbers and they turn out beautifully looking. The Awing woman, when you see her anywhere, you can pick her in a crowd, from a crowd, very easily. So this is where we meet during our various conventions. Here we have the ESCO, the present ESCO, that was put in place during our last convention in Minnesota. We have the president, myself, my vice president is Nkaminge Belinda Chungongkwenti. My secretary general is Mrs. Gladys Nji Tako, who is being assisted by Ma Rebecca Mangwe Longino, whom we all fondly call Deputy Madam. The financial secretary is Dr. Manyi Claire Seren Dangle Kumase. Treasurer, Mrs. Akondeng Hilda, our mama ne. Publicity secretary is Nkaminge Mercy Fofeke. Our chief whip, our own Gladys Mbatako. Advisors, we have our past president, Dr. and Mrs. Florence Bangowa, and all our mamas who join us in the women's wing. So, our community development activities. What the NACDA North America Women's Wing has done in these 10 years, just a few of the projects. We adopted a room in the palace when the palace was being renovated and completed that room. We continuously support the building of the Women's Social Center that is in the market. We donated chairs and tables to GSHS Asiana, donated sewing machines to the Women's Center, donated medical supplies to the Awing Health Center. We gave food assistance to the Awing families due to the Southern Cameroon crisis that was last year. We also gave our own support, our assistance towards the COVID-19 relief when the drive was going on. And we do not only look at ourselves, we also reach out to the community here in the USA, our host country. I don't know if we remember when we had the Hurricane Maria, we sent our own contribution through the Red Cross. That is to say, we also help families that do not come from Awing. And in collaboration with the women back home, we have worked on a health center project, a women's cooperative hall, as I mentioned, Women's Social Center, and we also, in the past years, had worked in reducing the number of days of widowhood rights. It used to take about a week when a woman lost her husband, but we worked on that, and now it is just 3 days. And the suffering that our mothers and sisters used to go through, it's been reduced greatly. So if you see any woman being maltreated when she loses her husband, know that that comes from that family. It is that family's responsibility. It is not an issue of women, or it's not an issue of the palace, because the palace had given us the go ahead. So it is now at the family level. So I just wanted to make that known. And just of recent, I don't know if we watched the come together in Boya, we saw the women, how beautiful they looked. So the women have designed and printed a unique fabric for all our women all over the world. We would have this fabric so that we do not keep changing fabrics and asking you, our husbands, that we need to change wrapper this year. So I think that will be some money-saving measure in the family. Going to our social activities, when we meet here in NACDA North America, we celebrate births, marriages, and graduations. When we have such happy events amongst us, we make sure we celebrate them. We also assist our members during some sad times. We come together. And we also have decided to celebrate ourselves. We should not just be working and working. We should find time also to rest. And we are planning a getaway trip for the women. We had planned that, but the COVID made us to cancel. With the restrictions being lifted, we have set a date for October this year. So the women will be taking some time off, and I hope our husbands will allow us to take that time off in October to go refuel. We will be going down to Florida. Here is a snapshot of our Zoom meetings when we hold our meetings. We just have, this was when we had our presentation in March during the International Women's Day. The women were taking, raised their hands to take, make a call for action that they were going to stand up for women's right for the girl child. So these are just some images that we took, and that is how we hold our meetings. We do them through Zoom on the first Sunday of every month. And the women's wing, NACDA North America Women's Wing, is growing and growing. Every woman should belong. If you are here and your wife or your sister or your mother is not yet a member, please make sure you register your mother. We stand numbers today, fully registered members, 126. So our call to action, that all women here, our husbands will help us to commit to the active engagement in NACDA women initiatives, increase awareness of the Awin culture in the diaspora through our activities, be it collective or individually, wherever we find ourselves. And we should be courageous to speak up for the marginalized. We should not see somebody suffering and we just pass by. We should be those who stand up for someone who is suffering, and to continue to be our sister's keeper, as we always say. We are our sister's keeper. When we do not see our sisters, we reach out and ask what is happening. If there is something going on, we are there to help. If we know, but if we do not know, it will be difficult. So if there is anything that you think our sisters should know, please do not hesitate to bring it to our attention. So that is NACDA North America Women and NACDA Women in a nutshell. Thank you very much for your attention.